Today, we're going to be learning about Claude connectors. But before we get into how to set it up, I want to show you just what it's capable of. So we're going to do that. I'm going to have it write an email. Just to give you some context, yesterday I went on a listing appointment and I want Claude to send a follow-up email to my client later this afternoon. And I want it to send me a reminder to follow up with the client again on Friday. So I've already drafted this prompt, and Claude is going to find the CMA in my Google Drive. Then it's going to draft an email to my client and keep it in my Gmail draft folder. And then finally, it's going to set a reminder on my Google Calendar to follow up with the client on Friday. So I'm going to paste this prompt into Claude, hit enter, and after a few minutes, it's going to do just that. So we'll give it a little bit of time. It's determining which tools it's going to need access to. I've already given Claude access to my Gmail, my Google Calendar, and my Google Drive. So it's able to find everything it needs all on its own. You can see the progress of what Claude is doing here on the right-hand side. So it's already found the CMA in my Google Drive. Now it's drafting the email to my client in Gmail. Then it's going to set the Friday follow-up reminder in my Google Calendar. And then finally, it will verify that it did everything correctly. Claude is asking if it's able to create a calendar event on my calendar. I will allow. There you go. About a minute later, Claude told me that it found the CMA in my Google Drive. It drafted the email in my Gmail, and then it created a calendar reminder for Friday at 9 a.m. for me to follow up with the client. Let's hop over to my Gmail and take a look at the draft. Here it is. Hey, Megan and Michael, great meeting with you both yesterday. As promised, here's the rundown of the CMA and my recommendation. So perfect. All I have to do is read through it and hit send. And that is the power of Claude connectors. My name is Tyler, and I closed 83 deals last year as a solo agent. On this channel, I'm going to show you the AI workflows I use to run my real estate brokerage more efficiently. So here are the 5 Claude connectors I use on a daily basis. I'm going to tell you the honest catch on every single one. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share the one thing I will never connect Claude to. You'll want to stick around for the last one because honestly, it matters more than the first 5 combined. Up first, Gmail. Nearly everyone uses it, but most people don't have it connected to Claude. The first thing I like to ask it is to show me all the emails that actually need a reply today. So I'm going to tell it, show me the emails that need a reply today. A lot of people complain that using Claude connectors takes a really long time. And that is true. Each time I prompt Claude and use either one or multiple connectors, it could take a minute or even 2 minutes to achieve the task. However, you can multitask. That is the beauty of having an assistant. It looks like it has found 4 emails that I will need to reply to. And so I'm going to highlight one of them and just say, write a draft for this email, hit enter. And within about a minute or two, I should see the draft show up right in my Gmail. So Claude finished the task and I'm going to navigate to my Gmail and let's take a look at what it said. So Yira said that they want to change the time of the final walkthrough and the response was, Yira, yes, 7:30 works fine. Home's vacant and we're still good for a Friday closing, so no issue. Again, all I have to do is review this email and click send. Look at where that draft went. It's sitting right in my Gmail as an actual draft, not text sitting in a chat window I have to copy back and forth. And notice what did not happen. I did not have to paste the thread into Claude. I did not have to paste the reply back out to Gmail. That is the difference between a chatbot and a true assistant. Let's do one more trick. I'm going to ask Claude to track down every newsletter in my email so that I can delete them all. In this example, Claude says it can't directly delete any emails, but it can find every newsletter and then clear them out. So I'm going to say, okay, just label all of them. And how far back should I go? Let's go the last 90 days. And we can see the progress on the right-hand side. So first, Claude is going to search for newsletter emails from the past 90 days. It's then going to aggregate the results by sender, create a newsletter Gmail label, then apply the label to all the newsletter threads and verify that it did it correctly. Some of these more complex tasks can take a little while, but you can multitask. You could leave this screen, do what you have to do, and then come back and the task should be completed for you. And there you go. So Claude had created a new label called newsletters, and it has categorized a bunch of emails into that newsletter label so that I can quickly select all and delete them. Here's the catch though. It finds threads by searching Gmail the same way you would search. So if you ask it a vague question, it may miss the email you meant to find. You have to be specific. And keep in mind, it drafts emails, but it does not send them. That is not a limitation of the tool, but that's a rule that I set, and it's going to matter a lot at the end of this video. 20 seconds on what you just watched, because you should know what you're turning on. A connector is a login. It's used in conjunction with a prompt, but it's not a prompt itself. To get to the connector directory, you'll want to go to Customize on the left and then scroll down, and under Customize, you'll click on the Connectors button. And from there, you can browse literally hundreds of connectors that Claude has. This is the directory. There are hundreds of tools in here. You authorize a tool one time, the same way you would authorize any type of app. And then after that, Claude can reach into the tool whenever it's relevant and use it just like you would. That's the whole idea behind connectors. Let's try out a Google Calendar connector. I'm going to ask Claude, what does my Friday look like? And when do I have free time? And there you go. It's showing every calendar event and saying that I have free time before 9 a.m., between 10:30 and 11 a.m., 12 to 1:30 p.m., and anytime after 2:30 p.m. I'm going to ask Claude to create a calendar invite to remind me to follow up with Bernard tomorrow, anytime I'm available regarding the home inspection. It's going to connect to Google Calendar, look at what times I have available, and automatically create that calendar invite. Here it is. So it wants to create the invite. I'm going to allow the action, and there you go. So we're going to navigate to our Google Calendar, and we can see the invite right here at 11 a.m. Follow up with Bernard regarding the home inspection is already on there. One last calendar example before we move on to the next connector. And this is the one that people usually get tripped up on. I'm going to ask Claude to add a calendar event for a showing tomorrow at 5100 Michigan and another showing after that at 327 Wandering Circle. It's asking what time it should schedule the two showings for. So I'll choose 4 to 5 p.m. and 5:15 to 6:15 p.m. But ultimately, I might want to provide more context. Usually my showings take about 20 minutes per house, so I might want to tell Claude that. The other thing is it doesn't take into account drive time unless you tell it. For example, it created a calendar event for 5100 Michigan at 4 to 5 p.m. and then one for 327 Wandering Circle at 5:15 p.m. There is no way I could get from 5100 Michigan all the way to 327 Wandering Circle in just 15 minutes. These homes are about 30 minutes apart. So I'm going to tell Claude, please take into account the drive time and make each showing 20 minutes long. It is going to ask me for my permission to update the calendar event, and there you go. So now 5100 Michigan is scheduled from 4 p.m. to 4:20, and then there's a 20-minute buffer to take into account the drive time and getting to 327 Wandering Circle at 4:40 p.m. Let's switch gears to Google Drive. I'm going to tell it to find the net proceeds spreadsheet I made for 1126 Southbrook Boulevard and draft an email to my client, Phil. I wanted to share the link to the spreadsheet and also walk him through what the net proceeds scenario is going to be. So I will put that prompt in Claude, click enter, and then watch it locate the file, open it, and read it. The best part is I'm not having to go on the hunt for this file in my Google Drive folder, and I'm able to just tell it to draft an email without having to go into Gmail, so that the only thing I need to do is review the email that it's drafted and click the send button. That is the beauty of a Claude connector. It found the spreadsheet, drafted the email. So let's take a look at what it came up with. We're going to navigate over to my draft folder in Gmail, and here's the email it drafted. So it says, Phil, here's the net proceeds breakdown. It gives the two offers that were received as well as the bottom line. So at this point, all I have to do is review it, make sure the information is correct, and then hit the send button. The thing I want you to keep in mind though, is that this connector is only as good as your file names and your folder structure. If everything in your Google Drive is called stand number 4 or final version v2, it's likely going to hand you the wrong file. The next connector is going to be Notion. I might be a little bit unique here, but I use Notion to manage my entire real estate brokerage. All of my transactions live in Notion. So let's go over to Notion and I'll show you the list of deals that I'm currently under contract on. I'm going to tell Claude to update the sales price in Notion for 327 Wandering Circle to $1,005,000. It found the right property. It says currently the sales price in Notion is $1 million, and it is going to ask for my permission to update that number to $1,005,000. It's been updated, so let's navigate back to Notion to make sure it did it correctly. So we're going to click on 327 Wandering Circle, and yep, there it is. Sales price has been updated to $1,005,000, just like we asked it. Connector number 5. And this is the one that agents ask me about all the time. They want to know if Claude has a connector for their CRM. So let's try it out. We're going to go to customize, then we'll go down to connectors. We will browse all connectors and then search for CRM. And as you can see, Claude has a couple of them, but none of them are real estate specific CRMs that you and I probably use. So what's missing from this list is Follow Boss and Lofty and a host of others that you and me might be familiar with. They do have a connector for Zoho CRM. I don't know how many real estate agents really use that. They also have one for Attio. But other than that, you can see that quite a bit of real estate specific connectors are missing from the list. As of the filming of this video, none of the real estate specific CRMs that we're used to using have a Claude connector. That's not to say that they might not come out with one in the future. They just don't have one right now. Keep in mind though, there are some open source third-party connectors for CRMs like Follow Boss, and I'm actually making a video about it, so hit the subscribe button if you'd like to watch that one. But keep in mind, it's not the same as an officially reviewed connector in the Claude directory. Last but not least, I would be doing you a huge disservice if I ended on the fun part. So 2 things that you need to know. First, a connector inherits your app permissions. Whatever you can see and do in the app, Claude can also see and do as well. There's no privacy setting to only allow Claude access to certain things, so use it with caution. Second, and this is the one that most people miss, I never tell Claude to draft an email that involves any client money. That includes wiring instructions. This isn't because I think Claude will go rogue and steal the money, but it's because wire fraud is the single most expensive mistake in our industry. And if a wire goes to the wrong account, my client isn't going to be blaming Claude, they're going to be blaming me. And the convenience factor is just not worth the risk. So those are the 5 connectors that I use on a daily basis. Gmail, so that managing my inbox isn't a part-time job. My Google Calendar connector, which allows me to schedule meetings around my free time. Google Drive to help me stay organized. And Notion, assuming you use it like I do, to help me run my real estate brokerage. And remember, if you want to learn how to set up Follow Up Boss as a connector, follow along because I'm going to tackle that in a future video. Tell me in the comments which one of these connectors you've used. And if there's a connector that I left out of this video that you get value from, I'd love to learn about it. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. And if there's a real estate agent workflow that you'd like me to tackle, put that in the comments as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.